Every day, millions of pennies pass through hands, pockets, jars, and cash registers without a second thought. Most people see them as the smallest unit of money, barely worth bending down to pick up. But hidden among these ordinary copper-colored coins are fascinating stories of American history, minting surprises, and collector discoveries that can transform a simple 1-cent piece into something far more valuable. Today, we're uncovering 2 Lincoln pennies that continue to spark excitement among collectors and coin hunters everywhere. These coins may look common at first glance, but when you understand their history, their design, their minting quirks, and the rare errors that sometimes appear, you'll realize why dedicated collectors still search through rolls of pennies hoping to find one of these hidden treasures. The 1990 D. Lincoln Penny 1-cent coin. The 1990 D. Lincoln Penny represents a fascinating chapter in the long-running Lincoln cent series, a coin that has become one of the most recognizable pieces of American currency. While billions were produced and circulated widely across the United States, this particular penny still carries important historical context, interesting design features, and the possibility of valuable varieties that continue to attract the attention of collectors. The Lincoln cent first entered circulation in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than symbolic imagery. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the obverse portrait of Lincoln facing right quickly became one of the most enduring designs in American coinage. By the time the 1990 D penny was produced, the Lincoln cent had already undergone several design transitions. The original wheat ears reverse had been replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial reverse to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That design remained in use until 2008, meaning the 1990 D penny belongs to the long-running Lincoln Memorial Series. The obverse of the 1990 D Lincoln penny features Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto, "In God We Trust." To the left of Lincoln's profile is the word Liberty, and to the right sits the date 1990 with a small D mint mark beneath it indicating production at the Denver Mint. This portrait is widely admired for its realism and dignity. Brenner's design captures Lincoln in a thoughtful pose, reflecting the president's legacy as one of the most important figures in American history. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C. The architectural structure occupies the center of the design, with United States of America displayed along the top edge of the coin. Just below that appears the Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. At the bottom of the coin is the denomination 1 cent. A remarkable detail within the memorial design is the tiny seated statue of Lincoln visible between the central columns. This subtle element is so small that many people never notice it, yet it represents a fascinating artistic achievement in coin design. The 1990 D penny was produced during a period when the United States Mint was striking enormous quantities of coins to meet circulation demand. The Denver Mint alone produced more than 4 billion Lincoln cents that year. Such a massive mintage means the coin is extremely common in everyday circulation. However, the composition of the coin reflects a major change that occurred earlier in the decade. Since mid-1982, Lincoln cents have been made from a core of 97.5% zinc, with a thin copper plating covering the surface. This change was introduced because the cost of copper had risen significantly, making the older bronze pennies too expensive to produce. As a result, the 1990 D penny weighs about 2.5 grams, noticeably lighter than the earlier copper cents that weighed approximately 3.11 grams. Collectors often use this weight difference to distinguish between pre-1982 copper cents and later zinc-based coins. Although the 1990 D penny is common, collectors remain interested in it for several reasons. One of the most exciting aspects of modern coin collecting is the search for mint errors and die varieties, and the 1990 D cent has produced a number of these intriguing anomalies. One of the most well-known varieties is the 1990 No-S proof penny, though this variety technically belongs to the San Francisco Mint proof coins rather than the Denver issue. Still, the discovery of that rare error in the same year increased attention across all 1990 pennies and encouraged collectors to examine them more closely. For the Denver Mint issue, collectors frequently search for double die errors, A double die occurs during the die creation process when the design is impressed into the die more than once at slightly different positions. This results in visible doubling on certain design elements. On some 1990 D pennies, collectors have reported doubling on the inscriptions such as Liberty or I in God We Trust. When the doubling is strong and easily visible, the coin becomes significantly more desirable among specialists. Another interesting category is repunched mint marks. Although mint marks were added to working dies by hand in earlier decades, by 1990 most mint marks were already incorporated into the die during production. However, minor varieties and anomalies can still occur, and collectors examine the D mint mark closely to identify unusual shapes or impressions. Off-center strikes represent another fascinating possibility. During the striking process, if a planchet is not perfectly aligned between the dies, the resulting coin may show part of the design missing. Off-center coins that still display the full date are especially valuable because collectors can easily identify the year. The degree of off-centering plays a large role in determining value. Coins that are 10 to 20% off-center may sell for modest premiums, while dramatic examples showing 40 to 50% off-center can command much higher prices. Die cracks are also seen on some 1990 D pennies. As dies age and endure repeated strikes, small fractures can form in the metal. These cracks appear as raised lines on the finished coin and can create unique patterns that collectors enjoy cataloging. Closely related to die cracks are cuds, which occur when a piece of the die breaks away completely near the edge. When this happens, the affected area on the coin appears as a raised, blob-like shape where the design is missing. Broad strike errors are another category sometimes found on modern Lincoln cents. In these cases, the retaining collar that normally holds the coin's shape during striking fails, allowing the metal to expand outward. The result is a coin that appears wider than normal with flattened or missing rims. Even though the 1990 D penny is common, coins preserved in exceptional condition can still command respectable premiums. In the world of coin collecting, condition is graded using the mint state scale, which ranges from MS60 to MS70. Most uncirculated 1990 D pennies fall within the MS60 to MS64 range and typically sell for a small premium above face value. However, coins graded MS66 or higher become increasingly scarce. At the top of the grading scale, near-perfect examples graded MS68 can sell for hundreds of dollars because so few coins survive with flawless surfaces and full mint luster. Collectors often search through original bank rolls or unopened mint sets hoping to find these high-grade examples. The thrill of discovering a pristine coin decades after it was struck is one of the reasons Lincoln cent collecting remains so popular. Ultimately, the 1990 D Lincoln penny demonstrates how even modern coins with massive mintages can still hold collectible interest. Between its historical place in the Lincoln cent series, its distinctive design, and the possibility of valuable errors or high-grade specimens, it continues to attract both new collectors and experienced numismatists. The 1991 D Lincoln penny 1-cent coin. The 1991 D Lincoln penny represents another important entry in the long-running Lincoln Memorial cent series. While it may appear similar to the 1990 D penny at first glance, this coin carries its own story of production, minting quirks, and collector interest. By 1991, the Lincoln cent had been part of American daily life for more than 80 years. Generations of Americans had used these coins for everyday transactions, and the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln had become a symbol of continuity within the nation's currency. The Denver Mint was once again responsible for producing billions of pennies for circulation across the western United States. In 1991 alone, the Denver facility struck more than 4 billion Lincoln cents. Like its predecessor, the 1991 D penny features the classic Brenner portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The design elements remain consistent with previous Lincoln Memorial cents. In God We Trust appears above Lincoln's head, Liberty is positioned to the left, and the date 1991 with the D mint mark appears to the right. The reverse continues to display the Lincoln Memorial Building. The structure stands prominently at the center of the coin, framed by United States of America along the top and 1 cent along the bottom. The motto E pluribus unum appears above the memorial. This design holds a unique place in U.S. coinage history because it is the only regular circulating coin that depicts the same historical figure on both sides. Lincoln's portrait appears on the obverse, while the reverse shows the building dedicated to his memory. The 1991 D penny follows the same zinc core and copper plating composition introduced in 1982. With a weight of about 2.5 grams and a diameter of 19 millimeters, the coin maintains the standard specifications used for modern Lincoln cents. Because the mintage was extremely high, circulated examples of the 1991 D penny remain very common today. Most examples found in pocket change carry little more than face value. However, as with many modern coins, the real excitement lies in the search for mint errors and high-grade survivors. Double die varieties are occasionally discovered on 1991 D pennies. These errors can appear as doubled lettering or numbers caused by misalignment during die creation. Collectors examine the inscriptions carefully, especially Liberty and the date, looking for signs of duplication. Another error type occasionally found is the rotated die error. In a normal coin, the obverse and reverse designs are aligned in a specific orientation. But if the dies shift slightly, the reverse image may appear rotated relative to the obverse. Depending on the degree of rotation, these coins can become quite collectible. Off-center strikes also occur among 1991 D pennies. These coins result when the planchet is not positioned correctly between the dies during the striking process. The result is a coin missing part of the design. Clipped planchet errors sometimes appear as well. These occur when a blank is improperly punched from the metal strip, leaving a curved section missing before the coin is struck. Lamination errors are another intriguing possibility. These occur when the metal strip used to create planchets develops internal flaws. When struck, layers of metal may peel or separate, creating unusual textures on the coin's surface. Collectors also pay attention to die deterioration on late-stage dies used to strike large numbers of coins. As the dies wear down, design details may become softer or distorted, producing coins with unique appearances. While circulated examples of the 1991 D penny are common, high-grade specimens are much harder to find. Coins graded MS-67 or higher become scarce because most pennies experience significant wear or contact marks during circulation. When a near-perfect example surfaces with strong luster, minimal marks, and sharp detail, collectors competing to complete top-quality Lincoln cent sets may drive prices significantly higher. Auction records show that the finest known examples of the 1991 D penny have sold for hundreds of dollars when certified at the highest grading levels. This dramatic increase in value based on condition highlights one of the most fascinating aspects of coin collecting. Even coins produced by the billions can become rare when preserved in exceptional condition. For collectors, the 1991 D Lincoln penny represents another opportunity to explore the intersection of everyday currency and hidden numismatic potential. Whether searching through bank rolls, examining inherited coin collections, or studying mint errors under magnification, enthusiasts continue to discover new details within these seemingly ordinary coins. In the end, the story of the 1991 D penny reminds us that every coin carries a piece of history. Even the smallest denomination can hold surprises, and sometimes the most overlooked coins are the ones that spark the greatest excitement among collectors.